Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very warm welcome and a very good morning too. Yang Berhormat Tuan Nik Nazmi bin Nik Ahmad, Minister of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Tuan Haji Muhammad Yusof bin Afdal, Deputy Minister of Higher Education Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Indra Engineer Bahrain bin Din, Chief Executive Officer of Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Yang berbahagia Datuk Engineer Megat Jalaluddin bin Megat Hassan, Chief Operating Officer of Tenaga Nasional and Chairman of the Energy Transition Conference, Chairman and Chief Executives of Malaysian and international organizations, senior government officials, media partners, esteemed speakers, and distinguished guests. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Tenaga Nasional Berhad, it gives me great pleasure to extend a warm welcome to everyone to this Energy Conference, Transition Conference 2023. I would like to thank Yang Berhormat Tuan Nik Nazmi bin Nik Ahmad for gracing us with his presence today, as well as to each and every one of us for dedicating your time to be here today. Indeed, for this event, we have received an incredible positive response for this two-day conference, which has drawn over 2,000 attendees and 68 speakers from across the globe, supported by 33 partner organizations. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the future and energy future is undoubtedly uncertain, but one fact remains: it is constantly evolving. The transformation of the global energy is well underway, but our path to transition is not without its challenges. The threat of climate change and need to secure energy security loom large, demanding our immediate attention and collective action. Once we strive towards balancing the energy trilemma of security, sustainability, and affordability, there is another often not mentioned item, that is the component that looks at equity and inclusiveness of our transition, ensuring that no one is left behind. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with more than 70 years of experience in the energy industry, our dedication to both the nation and the industry's future remains unwavering. TNB acknowledges our role with the electricity value chain, and we are determined to actively participate in the agenda for a responsible energy transition program. We have set our own plans into motion to support the country's net zero aspirations. Our strategy encapsulates 3 strategic focus areas, including concerted planning on generation decarbonization, enabling a flexible and renewable energy cross-border grid exchanges, and empowering cross-sectorial electrification and prosumers participation. With these initiatives, TNB will usher our stakeholders to witness an increase in renewable energy capacity, enhance energy efficiency through smart and digital technologies, broader adoption of solar, emerging renewable technologies, be it hydrogen, ammonia, or storage facilities, and a more concentrated regional collaboration in energy exchange, green energy exchanges. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today's conference will be about sharing and exchanging meaningful conversations, knowledge, and experiences to ultimately inspire a comprehensive and strategic solution to at least some of the complexities of the global energy transition. The conference deliberations and conversations are categorized into 3 economic sectors, i.e. power, transportation, and cities, mirroring, in fact, the approach taken by Tenaga Nasional in crafting out strategies for cleaner power generation, the future grid, and events which are only becoming more frequent, extensive, and increasingly severe. Hence, we would suggest that the pace of facilitating a responsible and just transition would also require the joint commitment from all, such as policyholders, suppliers, customers, and the rest of the citizens at large. Together, let us join hands towards building a better world and brighter lives. In closing, the energy transition must respond to people's aspiration and must not stunt or stall economic growth and development either. It is all hands on deck effort, and forums like this are where these conversations happen. Once again, thank you for coming together for the TMB inaugural Energy Transition Conference, and inshallah, we can look forward towards a fruitful outcome. I believe the sharing of knowledge and discussions during the two days will inspire actionable outcomes and greatly contribute to the energy transition journey. I wish all of us an enjoyable conference. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dato'. It now gives me great pleasure to call upon the Minister of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change in Malaysia, Yang Berhormat Tuan Enik Nazmi bin Nik Ahmad, for a special keynote. YB.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani. Yang berhormat Datuk Haji Muhammad Yusof bin Abdal, Deputy Minister of Higher Education Malaysia. Yang berbahagia Datuk Abdul Razak bin Abdul Majid, Chairman TNB. Yang berbahagia Datuk Indra Insinyur Baharin bin Din, CEO TNB. Yang berbahagia Datuk Insinyur Megat Jalaluddin Megat Hassan, Chief Operating Officer TNB and Chairman of the Energy Transition Conference, Chairman and Chief Executive Officers of Malaysian and international organizations, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by saying what a pleasure it is to be the keynote speaker for the Energy Transition Conference powered by Tenaga Nasional. I'm honored to be addressing this distinguished gathering of eminent minds. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to TNB for bringing together experts and industry players from Malaysia as well as abroad to discuss the urgent need for an energy transition and deliberate on accelerating this journey. I trust that this Energy Transition Conference 2023, with its various plenary sessions, panel discussions, and specialized tracks on energy, transport, sustainable cities, and digitalization, shall provide valuable perspectives on the needed transitional actions and enablers to ensure a just and equitable pathway for us to transition towards a sustainable energy system. This conference will also be historic. Tomorrow, Part 2 of the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, will be launched, where I will join our Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, and our Minister of Economy, Rafizi Ramli. I will not say much about it today because hopefully we want to see a bigger crowd to listen to tomorrow's announcement. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we stand on the brink of an exceptional chapter in our history. It's a time marked by remarkable advancements and profound challenges. We are witnessing rapid progress in various fields, including technology, science, and human understanding. But we also face formidable threats, including and especially climate change and the need to secure energy security. The dangers posed on climate action through a shift towards a low carbon trajectory has reached an unprecedented level of urgency. In today's landscape, the accessibility and provision of eco-friendly electricity sourced from renewable resources have evolved into paramount quest. Success will enhance a country's allure for potential investors and serve as a linchpin for businesses striving to retain their competitive edge and continuity. Imagine when Malaysia was first industrializing, what we did was to provide blanket subsidies in order to attract industries to come and invest in Malaysia, in order to cut their costs, also in order to afford them to pay lower wages to our workers, because then our citizens are paying heavily subsidized electricity tariffs. But the world today has changed enormously from then. Considering this dynamic shift, it is incumbent upon Malaysia, a nation deeply engaged in international trade, to respond to these evolving dynamics to maintain its relevance. Hence, the government has set the country an ambitious goal of attaining net zero greenhouse gas emissions earliest by 2050. This is accompanied by an interim task, a significant reduction of 45% in the intensity of GHG emissions per unit of GDP by 2030, benchmarked against the 2005 level. These commitments align with our nationally determined contributions, our NDCs, outlined in accordance with the Paris Agreement, signifying our proactive engagement with global efforts to address climate change. Among the important levers we will focus on in our quest towards carbon neutrality is to decarbonize our energy sector systematically. In fact, the Malaysia Energy Transition Outlook, or MITO report, which we launched together with the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, in March this year, highlighted that, 1, electrification and energy efficiency are key measures in Malaysia's net zero pathway. The share of electricity in all end-use sectors' total final energy consumption is expected to increase from 20% in 2019 to 40% in 2050. This reflects the additional electricity demand required to electrify end users in industry and the transport sectors. Second, solar PVs will be the key technology leading Malaysia's energy transition. Therefore, to allow higher integration of renewables, particularly solar, in a cost-effective manner, Malaysia needs to improve its system flexibility to overcome the current challenges of grid integration and to create grid flexibility. Recently, there was an article that spoke about what are the 3 biggest challenges for Britain to achieve its net zero goals. The 3 biggest challenges, they said, for the UK, it's grid, grid, and grid. To encourage greater renewable energy investment, there is a need to create a more conducive investment environment for renewables with national strategies and policies that prioritize clean energy investments and are consistent at all government levels. There is a need to strengthen the capacity of national financing institutions, overcome regulatory and market barriers, as well as to reduce government spending on fossil fuel-related subsidies. And fourth, with diverse renewable energy power systems, Malaysia has an opportunity to provide supply and flexibility to neighboring countries by deploying energy storage and expanding regional interconnection. Achieving the energy transition most cost-effectively will necessitate higher renewables integration with Malaysia's national power systems and regionally with our neighbors. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, taking into account of the MITO report, the government has announced an enhanced commitment to undertake an aspirational low-carbon energy pathway to accelerate our renewable energy deployment in the power sector to 70% or 55 gigawatts by 2050, compared to the current level of 25% or 10 gigawatts that we have today. This is in part a commitment I made during the unveiling of MITO, in which I pledged to put a comprehensive, competitive, and aspirational power generation and supply planning policies in place. This enables Malaysia to decarbonize and leverage our competitive advantage to draw in high-value yet environmentally friendly investment that is sustainable and energy-centric. A robust and flexible grid is critical, as the intended ramping up of renewable energy will be very much solar-based, and we all know the issue of intermittence. We estimated that a new investment of approximately 637 billion ringgit or 142 billion US dollars up to 2050 is required, and this includes investments in renewable energy generation sources, strengthening of the grid infrastructure, including transmission lines, enhancement, energy storage systems integration, and grid system network operation augmentation. Therefore, I hope to work closely with all parties to ensure a just and systematic transition, considering the energy trilemma of affordability, sustainability, and security. As you are all aware, the government has also decided to allow cross-border trade of renewable energy as a two-pronged strategy for Malaysia to capitalize and explore new higher value renewable energy demand in neighboring countries. This will enable us to offer and enjoy greater grid flexibility with higher renewable energy integration under the ASEAN Power Grid or APG initiative. Certainly, the ASEAN Power Grid is a goal worth pursuing. As a multilateral undertaking, its achievement would result in a totally integrated Southeast Asian power grid. It will promote interconnectivity across the 10 ASEAN member states with our combined population of more than 670 million and counting, allowing for cross-border electricity trade across the region. It is estimated by the year 2030, ASEAN will be the world's fourth biggest economy. Therefore, the government invites all interested energy players, especially our local energy companies, to continue and facilitate the discovery of new and renewable sources of energy across the nation and our borders. Cross-border RE trading will be part of Malaysia's contribution towards the contribution of the APG, and one would argue towards strengthening ASEAN integration as a whole. Separately, in the recent concluded ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting, AMEM, in Bali, Indonesia, which I attended, it resulted, among other things, in Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and Philippines deciding to embark on a sub-region focus group to ramp up existing interconnectivity for green energy. Prior to this, we already had the LTMS grouping, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore, and now we are working on the BIMP, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines. TNB, Indonesia's PT-PLN, and ASEAN Center for Energy, ACE, have also signed an MOU for a feasibility study on a Sumatra, Indonesia, Peninsula, Malaysia interconnection line. I believe this connection has been discussed many years before, but with today's higher energy prices and the demand for greater grid integration with the ramp up of renewable energy, it makes more interconnections a more promising prospect. ASEAN is an integral part of Malaysia's future, and hence it is crucial for us to achieve a just and comprehensive energy transition as an interconnected region with the APG as a key component of this. The realization of an integrated regional grid with high shares of renewable energy hinges on providing a smart, flexible, and robust grid system and infrastructure. Therefore, I urge TNB to draw on your extensive 70-year history in grid development and management to continue your effort in modernizing and digitalizing the grid. I trust that this effort will play a vital role in propelling the APG initiative towards success while supporting the creation of a resilient, intelligent, and adaptable network that remains reliably capable of fulfilling the country's energy transition requirements. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say a few words on some of the other tracks of our conference this week. Investing in a smart grid can also accelerate the energy transition, as smart cities are dependent on such infrastructure to ensure the resilient delivery of energy to supply many functions. As the building sector continues to be one of the largest users of energy and emitters of carbon dioxide, it's also crucial that the energy and resource usage of buildings are optimized. To support businesses, the Energy Audit Conditional Grant, EACG 2.0, was provided under the 12th Malaysia Plan and is being implemented by the Energy Commission of Malaysia for the years up to 2025. For residential customers, consumers can track, monitor, and manage energy consumption wisely through energy monitoring systems and smart meters. TNB, as the government's implementing agent in the peninsula, has installed some 3.1 million smart meters across the nation. Energy efficiency remains our priority as we prepare to table the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act in the upcoming parliamentary sitting this year. The EECA bill has been in the works for many years, and we hope that it will catalyze commercial competitiveness while encouraging environmental stewardship for residential and industrial consumers alike. On a side note, it was during the tabling of this, the cabinet paper on the EECA that we finally decided to have a change in the government dress code to allow the wearing of batik for every day and not just on Thursdays as it was previously. And I was happy to see that during the ASEAN Energy Ministers meeting, Malaysia was the only country to wear batik throughout the conference. So to do that in Indonesia is quite an achievement. Another game changer identified under the 12th Malaysia Plan is embracing the circular economy. In the context of smart cities, the circular economy system can better optimize resource flows and minimize waste generation. Success would require integrating ESG principles into decision-making and encouraging businesses to develop the circular economy design and the sharing economy model. Green financing, digitalization, and enabling policies would continue to be strong enablers for this transition. Ladies and gentlemen, central to the concept of smart cities is green mobility. The government of Malaysia has committed to developing the electric vehicle industry strategically. We are also examining the existing procedures for approving EV charging systems to reduce the time in processing the installation approval. And I would like to give credit to the Energy Commission for simplifying the process of installing EV charging systems. Under our low carbon mobility blueprint 2021-2030, we are on track to achieve our target of 10,000 public charging stations in the country by 2025, and we are also targeting 1.5 million EVs in the country by 2040. The EV market is forecasted to grow exponentially over this decade, and this presents us with a timely opportunity to capitalize on a high-value green economic sector. Obviously, the EV cars is not the only part of the spectrum. We also need to look at it holistically in terms of public transport, in terms of micro-mobility, and not merely cars alone. But regarding mobility, it would be amiss not to mention the potential of green hydrogen as a fuel alternative. The federal government, in collaboration with state governments and utilities like TNB, is excited to explore the prospect of harnessing a new energy carrier and the knock-on economic effects it would bring. We aim to unlock the hydrogen economy through NETR, the and the hydrogen economy and technology roadmap that is targeted to be rolled out later this year. This includes how we can attract investments towards its production and ultimately pave the way for Malaysia to become a main export hub for green hydrogen by 2027. I would like to also commend the Sarawak government for taking the lead in the development of the hydrogen economy and making enormous progress in this area. Increasingly, we are seeing the value in cooperation to drive the transition domestically, regionally, and internationally. The scale of action demanded requires us to work as a unit where the sum of the collective is much greater. It has often been said that the developed nations must support their developing counterparts in this. The point cannot be repeated enough. It is only fair that countries that have benefited from decades, if not centuries, of economic growth, and sometimes at the expense of others, should pay their share, and that the aspirations of the upcoming middle class of the developing countries cannot be sacrificed at the expense of the developed world. Ultimately, this benefit is humanity's survival on this planet. Greed will literally kill us all, but cooperation and responsibility will give us a chance to continue to exist. We hope to pursue the just energy transition, including from the financing standpoint at COP28 and other forums. In this year's COP28, we will have the attendance of our King, and also the Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim will be leading our delegation to Dubai. We also hope that businesses and civil society will continue to put sustainability at the forefront of their work. The energy transition and climate action involve all sectors, and all sectors must contribute if humanity is to continue to thrive. In conclusion, the next 5 years for Malaysia will see a nationwide shift to a more sustainable economic practices and lifestyles, elevated by advancements in digitalizations as we inch closer towards our net zero ambitions. I'm happy to see that the energy sector has been one of the most exciting sectors that we've seen so many changes since the new government took over. We will only be able to achieve our aspirations through a carefully calibrated approach that considers all the implications on the people. Again, any transition carried out must be just and fair, and as far as possible balance the competing weights of the energy trilemma. Through continued partnership, the open exchange of knowledge and trade, I am certain that we can unlock this transition's immense potential in an inclusive and sustainable manner. There are many ways to win and many pathways to achieving net zero, but what will decidedly guide us forward is the single shared goal of creating better lives and a better future. In this, we will need leadership from the government, which I will strive to provide within the government, but also from the private sector, civil society, and the public. May gatherings like this give us the critical mass to progress this process. Indeed, I'm confident that the conversations at the Energy Transition Conference will generate valuable perspectives and nurture productive partnerships towards accelerating the energy transition journey. This will be a long journey. It might transcend generations, but we have to start the journey today. I wish you all a productive, rewarding, and enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, YB. May I invite you to please remain on stage for the conference launch. At this point, I also like to invite the VIPs, Yang Berhormat Dato' Haji Muhammad Yusof, together with Yang Berbahagia Dato' Abdul Razak, and Yang Berbahagia Dato' Indra Insinyur Baharin, and also Yang Berbahagia Dato' Insinyur Megat Jalaluddin up on stage. At this point, I also like to invite the photographers to make your way up front for the photo. And also everyone, if you could actually, it's an audience participation, if you could look at your app, right? And when you look at your app, you'll see the launch button on your app, right? So this involves everyone. I think before we put the card in, the photo opportunity. Right, have we got that going on? Have we got the photos? Okay. And on my count, yeah, I would like to invite the VIPs to push the card to the slot and also the audience to press the button together. So on my count, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'd like to invite everyone back to their seats. Congratulations on the launch of the Energy Transition Conference. Thank you once again to Yang Berhormat for launching the conference, and we'll be taking a short break to recharge and visit the exhibition halls at halls 1 and 2. And of course, do make sure you visit the Energy Transition Tunnel, which is an immersive and enlightening experience designed to lead you through a journey into a world of sustainable energy. For